I hate them Zoom meetings.
Live on YouTube. See, it didn't let me sign in. But it looks like you're up. But I mean, we're a little early. I don't know. But I didn't do any of this. So oh, that says recording. Oh, Valerie B. Thomas joined.
I have no idea who the hell that is. Of course, I don't know any of these people.
I don't know if this one's going to work the same way. Let me get out and try it again. Join Zoom meeting. One tap mobile. It's odd, it didn't let me type in a number or anything, an ID number. I hate these things. Hearing people.
The hell is that?
I'm up, but I don't see anybody else up.
You have to use the passcode or something?
No, that's why I don't know for sure if I'm in or not. Okay, now it's getting ready to start. Come on.
I'm here.
Come over here. I think it's gonna work. City of Palatka, old business, new business.
There you go.
You paid $1,200 for that thing.
with mute?
But I hit unmute.
I would think after their last meeting, they would.
I don't know what else to do.
It's got to do more than that.
Your video's on, your mute's on, you're just waiting on them. I gotta check on her.
Just ask us.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Thank you. My name's D.R.C. Miller. I'm assistant to the code enforcement officer. I will be taking minutes and I will call the roll in just a few minutes as soon as we're started by our chair lady.
Are you muted?
Mhm. I'm going to ask everyone if they would mute their phones at this time. Those of you that are not familiar, you should see a microphone at the bottom of your computer if you have a computer. And you click on that and you'll see a red line go across it. That means that you're muted. Please mute your phones at this time.
that she's trying to log on this time.
May I have your attention, please? Our chairperson is having difficulty logging in. She's trying hard to log in. Just give her a few more minutes, please. Thank you.
Hello?
Welcome, Miss Williams.
Sorry about that. I tried. Okay. Where are we?
We're
Okay.
at the top.
Call to order?
Yes.
Okay. Call to order code enforcement, September the 23rd, 2020. Roll call.
Roll call,
I said roll call.
yes.
Okay,
Lysandra Williams,
present.
Christopher Harris, Christopher Hollister, Leroy Miles,
Present.
Pat Wilson, Tangi Archer, Ann Keys,
Here.
Patty Balk.
Here.
This ends the roll call, Madam Chairman.
Okay, and do we have enough for a quorum?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay. I don't see any minutes for January 22nd, 2020. So I'll move on to appeal to the decision. Any person wishing to appeal any decision made by the Code Enforcement Board with respect to any matters considered at such meeting will need a record of proceedings that include the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based at the expense of the appellant. Florida Statute 286.0105. Is the Code Enforcement Officer ready to be sworn in?
Yes,
Do you swear to affirm your testimony will be true or correct?
yes.
Okay. We have nothing for the consent agenda, nothing for old business. New business will be case 2019-70, 808 Main Street.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, case number 2019-00070, 808 Main Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177. The property owner is a Kenneth and Yvonne, etc. Curry, owns the property. Are y'all able to see the photos?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I don't see them. This is Ann. I don't see them.
You can't see them? Okay, hold on. Let's see.
I'm the only one that I can't see them. Yes, I can see them.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. This is the property at 808 Main Street. Property notification has been made to the property owner. These are the photos at the time of the complaint with the overgrown weed and debris. There is some trash on the property. The image there to the left, someone actually used that side of their property to dump their stuff. That actually did come from there. I was there like a day before I took those pictures and that wasn't there. The next day I took the pictures and that was there. However, you can see the boarded up one has been boarded for some time. That's a better picture of the front where the window apparently been broken out and they boarded it up on that one side to the right of your screen. Their fence is down and there's some more overgrowth on the side and you can see all this visible from the Main Street road because that's exactly where it's located at. So property has the broken fence, has overgrowth and debris on the property. Code Officer Jackson is requesting for a daily fine of $25 to start within 30 days if violations have not been brought into compliance.
You've heard the recommendation of the code enforcement officer. Do I have a motion?
I have a question.
Go ahead with your question.
Noticing that this property is boarded up, was that in reference to a code violation, or was it through the owners because the windows are boarded up?
There is a ordinance for windows to be temporarily boarded unless they request an extension. There was not one ascertained for an extension to be done. If you can see this photo, you can clearly tell that board's been there for some time.
Right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I have a motion toward the code enforcement officer request?
Yes, this is Patty Vote. I move that the board find that the code violations alleged by the code enforcement officer in fact exist, and that if the violations are not corrected in 30 days, the $25 fine will occur per day.
A second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that the motion carries. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Next case, 2018-11, 801 North 11th Street.
Case number 2018-000111, 801 North 11th Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177. Proper notification given to the property owner. Property is still not being maintained, has overgrowth and debris. Property has damage to the structure. If you can look up here, you can see where the metal roof, the tin there has actually left, and there's a big hole there. There is no power at this residence. The power has been shut off and the meter has been removed. This property is running a daily lien. We had this case back some time, and it was recorded. It's a recorded lien in the Putnam County official records, and recorded at $250 per day. It has accumulated fines up to over $130,000 up to today's date, this date. Requesting for a foreclosure due to the property has an active recorded lien in that amount.
We've heard the recommendation by the code enforcement officer. Do I have a motion in reference to a recorded lien? Foreclosure procedure?
Yes, I move that the board find that the code violation alleged by the code enforcement officer in this fact exists, and the amounts that has been accumulated take effect on this date.
State your name, who made the motion?
This is Ann Keys.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
State your name for the record.
Leroy Miles.
Okay, thank you. Been properly moved that we will proceed with foreclosure procedure. All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed to the motion? Motion will carry. We'll proceed with foreclosure procedures. Thank you. This case is case 2017-40, 822 Oak Street.
Yes, this property is case number 2017-00040, 822 Oak Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177. Proper notification given. This property also has a daily fine running on it of $100 per day. As of today's date, it has accumulated fines up to $70,900 in liens. We're requesting for a foreclosure due to property has that active recording lien, and it has not made the complete compliance by building These are the photos of the time of the complaint.
Has the owners made any contact at all? Because it doesn't seem like it's totally out of whack.
Yes, the property owner has made some improvement. However, he pulled a permit from the Putnam County, and that permit has expired and it did not pass inspection, and then it expired shortly afterwards.
That's old. That's old. That's old. 2018 pictures.
And here,
How
here's-
long ago was that?
Here's some photos after some repair was made. The flooring there for the front porch. You can see the new wood there. However, according to the building official, the rails for security and balance to go up the stairs is not there. He did it on the back side.
Oh, you have rails on both
He
sides?
did that. I'm sorry. He did the railing and fixed the back entrance because there was no proper entrance to go into the back of the property. However, that is the new addition that was added.
Can I ask a question? This is Patty Vogt.
Go ahead.
These pictures that I'm looking at now, how old what are the dates on these pictures? How old are they?
These pictures were taken, the photos after some repairs was just taken about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And actually, I was
Thank
just over there last week, and I've been in contact with Mr. Iman as much as I can to assist him.
So have you had contact the last 2 weeks with him?
No, I've spoken to Mr. Iman, I want to say Thursday of last week, but I know we emailed, and I emailed him Friday. He's actually in this Zoom meeting with us. As a matter of fact, he is present to speak on his behalf.
Okay. Mr. Iman, are you available?
I'm Mr. El Shami's attorney. He is here with me.
Okay. Does he want to take an oath that first we need his name and address for the record?
Ayman Al-Shami, 295 North Hidden Tree Drive, San Augustine, Florida, 32086.
Do you swear or affirm that your testimony will be correct?
I do.
Okay, proceed.
Are you asking me to proceed or the enforcement
You
officer?
you proceed. You're representing. Right?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Mr. El Shami, you were just told or just heard that the enforcement officer say that the railing in the front of the home has not been replaced. Is that correct? Or has not been installed?
No, it's installed.
Okay. I don't know if you can be heard, but you're saying it has been installed.
And the pictures, there's some of the pictures, very old pictures. It's back to 2018.
Okay.
Not current one.
So the pictures are going by pretty quick.
Yeah. This one is current.
That picture's current, the one from the front. Okay, what about the other pictures? How about this picture?
This is current.
Okay, is there a railing on that one?
Yes.
Okay, it's on the front of the porch, you mean, or is it on the stairs?
On the porch, on the front of the porch.
Okay,
On the left hand side.
that's what they were asking you to do, is put railing on the front of the porch? Not on the stairs.
Actually, the whole thing, they want to change only the flooring for the porch, not the railing.
Okay.
This is what the initial things, and I changed the flooring. So there was nothing about the railing. Even that, I changed the railing as well.
Okay. Let's see here. So you've replaced you've secured the boards on the front of the porch.
Yes.
You've put a railing on the back steps of the home.
Yes.
You've removed the debris.
Yes.
What else is left to be done?
Nothing left to be done. Actually, according to the violation, that was in 2019. And in 2019, it's like in September 23, 2018, I emailed Officer Jackson, all the modifications done, and she inspected them. She said it's passed. In 2018, less than 1 month after the first meeting with the city.
Okay.
And there is an email showed that everything was done according to the code.
Okay. I'm not real sure where we are on the violations that are alleged, but and that's Miss Clark. Is that
Miss
who that
Clark,
is? Okay. If I could ask Miss
Yeah.
Clark some questions,
Okay.
what is left to be done in your opinion?
Can you hear me, Mr. Collins?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm looking because the Putnam County Building Department, and I did receive the email from Mr. Iman. He has been in contact with me, keeping me abreast on everything as much as he can. However, I did email him on Thursday, I believe. Maybe I was just checking to see what day that was to make sure. Letting him know, informing him that I had spoke with the Putnam County building official, Leo Robinson, who provided me with an update on his property. I'm not sure if Mr. Iman had time to review that or not. It was actually September the 21st at 9:41. Let him know I did speak with Mr. Leo to get a better update to see where we was at, which would have been Monday. And I informed him that Mr. Leo did not have any updated information pertaining to his property being in compliance. And if he had anything current, to please provide it to me as soon as possible. Mr. Iman did email me the inspection notice he got from the Putnam County Building Department, and it was dated 3/4/19. And the code section was, this is on building department side, install handrails to the code for stairs. Chapter 10 was any stairwells, the height spacing shall not exceed 3/8 of an inch from 7 inches. And then there was a 110-5 as a code section, provide a plumbing permit to fix the sewer line sitting. That was another thing. I know he got that taken care of on that one.
Doing plumbing for the guy next door, and they charge
Okay.
him from his name.
So what's not done right now?
His inspection on the rails and the stairwells of the height and install the rails to code. It's two sections. I'm not familiar with the Putnam County Building Department codes on their end. However, the permit that Mr. Iman had to do the repairs with has expired, but he did not pass inspection as well. And he had a contractor, and he informed me he was trying to get a new contractor, Anus Construction, that was gonna meet with Mr. Leo, but apparently they never met. And I've spoken to Mr. Iman about that, regarding that, to assist him.
But this is wasn't
As
part
of
of the first violation.
Monday,
Okay.
as of Monday, September the 21st, 2020, his permit had expired and he did not pass inspection, so therefore nothing was completed to the building.
This has nothing to do with the violation that's submitted.
Okay, so
This is something.
okay, so there are two liens that are outstanding, or one lien that's outstanding. Do you agree that there's some code enforcement liens that were entered September 26, 2018?
Yes, and I spoke to Mr. Iman about that. That lien, there was 2 copies. When we do our liens, we make 2 copies in case they make a mistake on one. We have another re-signed and it accidentally got recorded twice, so we took out 1. Due to that, we don't need 2 liens for the same thing. We only need the 1. And he was
So,
told
okay,
there's
so
only 1 active lien.
okay, so you satisfied one and then re-recorded the other one, right?
They got recorded at the same time. They pulled the 2 sheets when it was done.
Actually, one was recorded on October 15th, 2018. One was recorded December 18th, 2018. Is that correct?
What was October?
October 15th, 2018, and December 18th, 2018.
Yes, and that was a mistake. It got caught up in the, that's what I was saying. It got caught in there and it was signed twice and recorded twice. So we removed 1. It's for the same violations. It did not need to be recorded twice. There's only need to be 1 recording for those violations.
Okay, but now the release of lien says that the obligations imposed by the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order, case 17-40, dated September 26, 2018. That's what it says, that the city releases the obligations imposed by that document. And what I've got is I've got 2 documents with the same date on it, signed by Miss Williams, but they're 2 separate. They're not. Doesn't look like a copy of the same document, and it's the same violation. But you released the violation, even though you recorded another one, and you did this in April. So what you're saying is, the fact that the release of lien says that everything's been done, you released the obligations imposed by the findings of fact and conclusions of law on the document in the case number dated September 26th. You're saying one of them is released, but the other one's not. Is that correct?
One of them is legally recorded. There was 2 liens recorded. I am aware of that. When I checked the paperwork, I realized that. So we have to take out 1. And if you'll look in the release, do you have a copy of the release of lien?
I'm looking at it.
Lien on that 1 instrument number with that booking page, that date and time. That doesn't state the fact that it's releasing both liens. It's only releasing that 1 because it was double recording.
Now, when you filed that lien on October 2018, wasn't that after you had told Mr. Al-Shami that everything was done?
No, we actually went out, me and my supervisor and the building official went out there right before Christmas, December, and he had tenants on that premise, and they came out and pointed out to Mr. Iman what he need to do. That would be the building official. That's why he ascertained and obtained the permit to make those repairs. It was actually placard then in December that the property was unsafe, but we allowed the property tenants to live there. And we explained to Mr. Iman because it was right at Christmas and we didn't want to cut the power or anything like that. They didn't have nowhere to go at the last minute. So as
Didn't
to him, we allowed.
Okay, on October 24th, 2018 at 11:20, I have an email from you to Mr. Al-Shami that says, I did go out yesterday, October 23rd, 2018, and re-inspected the property and saw that every code violation has been brought into compliance. Please please continue as the property owner to keep your property in compliance with City of Palatka municipal codes. I'll also be sending you a letter in the mail this week regarding the reinspection outcome, fees and fines and or administrative costs. If you have any questions for code enforcement, please contact me. Now, that was after you guys, after the board had the lien that was dated September 26th, 2018. This is dated almost a month later, and it says every code violation has been brought into compliance. So why is that second lien not released?
The second lien is not released because when I went out there with the building official, which was Charlie Erkman with the Putnam County building official, he inspected, let me go back to the picture, the ventilation. This picture right here, that was improper. However, I don't have any training in the building, and they was teaching me that and explaining to me why, and that's not the proper ventilation. How Mr. Iman has corrected that to standard, to my knowledge, according to Mr. Leo.
Okay, but what I'm trying to understand is the code enforcement lien that was filed had findings of fact and conclusions of law, okay, on the 26th of September 2018. That lien is based upon violations of September 26, 2018. And on October 2018, you said that every code violation has been brought into compliance. So were we supposed to rely on that every code violation was brought into compliance based upon that email?
That's the email dated October the 24th,
2018 from you at 11:20 a.m. If I can show my screen, I can show it to you.
No, I can pull it up.
This is the facts about this document for the county. The county didn't file it. The county didn't know anything about it. In January, they inspected in January.
Okay, I got the email too. It was a Tuesday, October the 23rd, 2018 at 10:45. Mr. Iman sent me the email. To my knowledge, in compliance. However, when the county building official came out, it was not in compliance due to those facts. Now, again, that's the reason why he had to get the permit to do the work he needs to do, and that permit has expired.
But when did the county come out and inspect?
The county came out on
August 21st.
what year, Mr. Iman?
Mr. Iman didn't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Perfect. 3 letters. Can you hear me?
I'm looking at a printout from the county office, from the building department with Putnam County, and there was 5 lists on here, 5 different dates or 5 different codes on here off of his permit number 1900126. Code number 193, it was disapproved on August the 21st, 2019.
What is that?
I'm not sure. It's an inspection RA. I'm not sure. We're on 2 different computers programs.
Right. But isn't that a different time period than what we're talking about?
This actually all together, like I said, because it was the holidays, we gave Mr. Iman that leeway and work with him.
Wait a minute. I'm asking about the lien that was not released, okay? Your email says that you inspected the property and every code in violation has been brought into compliance. Was that a correct statement?
To me, yes.
Okay, so as a code enforcement officer in the city of Palatka, could Mr. Iman or Mr. El-Shami rely on that statement that he was in compliance with the codes?
Again, the two liens that was recorded was the original liens on the property. The original lien
And those for,
was in reference to, hold on, Mr. Collins. If you look at the lien and it tells you that he has different section ordinance that he that was in violation on his property. And
right,
in there, it tells him, you know, that he has the section 30-32, section 94-311, section 30-169, which talk about the building fronts and sides abutting the streets and public area. 30-176 exterior property areas. Section 30-170 rear and side walls. Section 30-179 other repairs. That's where the building will come in at. If everything on there that any property on this issue, I cannot release it all until everything is completely and satisfied in compliance. That's
but
why
you,
the was
but you,
recorded. However, it did get recorded twice by mistake. I caught it and I took the one out by that instrument number that's recorded at the Putnam County Official Records Book and the booking page number for that particular lien that was recorded, not both liens. That does not satisfy both liens, just that one.
no, wait a minute, but both liens are dated the same date, right?
They're dated the same date.
Okay, so if the liens are based upon the code violation, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then the code the lien that was recorded in October, it appears that you told Mr. El-Shami in October every code violation has been brought into compliance. Doesn't that mean every code violation has been brought into compliance? Or does it mean something else?
Everything that I requested of him was in compliance except for the building, which is that 30-169. Other repairs cover our building officials.
Wait a minute, but you said everything's been brought into compliance.
And it was explained to him as well, as I'm explaining to you, that it was for those issues until the building come out. So I can't release anything until everything is complete into compliance.
Wait a minute. You're talking about stuff that was inspected in 2019?
No, we've been working with Mr. Iman since for
2017
years now. We went
I know.
all the way back. This was a 2017 case, and I've been working with him ever since. And I stay in contact with Mr. Iman, assisting him and giving him.
I understand.
Resource I can assist him on.
Right, but the two liens that were filed, they were about the same exact things, right?
They were about the same exact things.
Okay. And they were done and that was from a meeting in September 2018.
Correct.
Okay, so at that meeting in 2018, it says everything that he has to do and all the code violations at the time, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then on October the 24th, you said all the code violations have been brought into compliance, correct? That is what you said, right?
In the email, yes. It went
Okay.
out on October the 23rd, 2018.
Okay, so after he got the list of code violations in the lien, okay, that was part of the September 26, 2018 hearing. That says what he has to do to get rid of the lien, right? And then on October the 24th, you said every code of violation has been brought into compliance, correct? If that's correct, why did you record another lien in December?
That lien got, as I said, it was 2 sheets. It got caught in the middle because we get 2 recordings or we get 2 signatures in case one make a mistake and I didn't realize it was in there. That's why that one was removed.
But you recorded the second one after you had already told him that every code violation has been brought into compliance.
And it was removed because it shouldn't have been recorded twice. It should have stayed because everything was not done after the building official came out and did their inspection.
Wait a minute, we're talking about, so what you're saying is when you told him every code violation was taken care of, that wasn't correct then?
Everything at the original case was when he had a lot of debris and trash cans out by the road, and he's aware. And then he started making these repairs that you're currently seeing now afterwards.
Okay,
So we
but
gave
we're talking,
him extension to continue to work on it, but he knew it was recording.
okay. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that on the September 26, 2018, the board said he was not in compliance, correct? And they
Correct.
issued what the problem was. There's an ABC, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that's as of September 26, 2018, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then a month later, you told him every code violation has been brought into compliance, right? Every code violation would be every code violation as of the September 26, 2018 order that was signed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if that happened, shouldn't that lien be released at that time?
It was on, and he was explaining only for just those things, but not for the entire lien because it's still the building housing codes was still in violation.
Well, wait a minute. That what I mean, I'm looking at the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order. Those codes, that's a code violation, right? Those are the 3 code violations. Actually, there's more codes there, but those are the things that he had to do. That's the that you found. Okay, it says that he's the owner. These are the conditions of the property that constituted violations of different codes. And so that tells you in 1B what the violations are, correct?
In 1B.
And that's all the violations.
Yes, and you say there was 3. I just want to get the record straight. You say it was 3 violations you see on your sheet?
No, man. What I'm saying was there was an A, B, and C. I said 3. I misspoke. Everything's in 1B. Okay. So 30-32, 30-169, 30-176, 30-170, 30-179. Those are the violations.
Okay,
Right?
may I interject here for a question? If there's a building inspector involved, is there a report in the file showing that the inspection didn't pass?
The inspector, I get the violation. I was trying to.
Well, I'm looking, what I'm going after is,
I'm sorry, I'm just asking the code enforcement, is there a building inspector report?
It didn't come to January. And there is an email.
Ms. Clark,
Yes, ma'am.
do you know whether there's a building inspector report in the file?
Yes, I have a copy of the inspection notice,
What's the date of that?
3/4/2019. Inspector was James.
So when was the permit pulled?
The permit was pulled on. I don't understand their codes. They got in here, this abbreviation, but I'm thinking it was pulled 1/28/2019.
So that means the property owner knew there was other issues that had to be addressed.
Yes, he was made aware of everything.
Okay, I'm just making sure because we're back on October 2018, but the owner knew he had other issues to address when he pulled the permit and the property inspector code said it didn't pass.
Okay, I have the exact date too, Ms. I'm sorry.
Okay.
For the
I'm
record.
just keep it, yeah, for the record, so everything's lined up.
Yeah, it was the permit number 1900126. It was issued on January 28, 2019. I have a receipt number as well.
But that's all in reference to the same code violation.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure.
Now, okay, I guess my question is how could there be the same code violation if the code enforcement officer had already said everything's been brought into compliance?
Madam Chair, is there an opportunity for public opinion, public comment?
Who was this speaking?
Tony
Who's
Harwell.
asking? Huh?
Tony Harwell.
And who are you in relation to this case?
Property owner next door.
Oh, well, I'm not sure. Hold that thought for a second. Is the city attorney available? Is he on the call?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you give us some direction as to which position, which way we should go with this?
Well, at this point, Mr. Collins
Yes.
is still questioning, and I'm just trying to figure out, I wanted to ask the board, is there any confusion about the facts here in this case that Mr. Collins is trying to present to the board?
Well, I have a question, if I may. This is Patty Vogt. My
Okay.
question in reference to the original liens that were put on, I understand that they were duplicated and one was released but it was originally just one to begin with. But my understanding, if I understand the code enforcement officer, is that why this was happening, other code violations were in existence that were happening that needed to be released by building inspectors, which were all part of the original. So let's say the railings were done and the staircase was done and the windows or the debris was removed. All of those things were met. But then there were other issues that only an inspector for building and zoning could inspect and release before the code enforcement officer could release the lien. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correct?
Yes.
That's what the chair is following at the point. Yes, at this point.
Okay, thank you, because that's my understanding. Thank you.
Well, wait a minute. So what you're saying then is they found other violations that were not on the September 26, 2018 findings and facts and conclusions of law?
No, what we're saying is in the original violation, it had a listing of things according to city code, and it's a listing of things that's according to city code that has to pass the building inspection to be brought in compliance. So he didn't comply with all the codes that in the additional that has to be passed by the building inspectors.
Well, that doesn't necessarily make sense since the code enforcement officer said every code violation has been brought into compliance. So does she not mean every code violation? Or is there a mistake here somehow? I don't understand how she says everything's in compliance, yet now we're saying, oh, we had to have the county do something. How can she say that every code violation has been brought into compliance if it's not true?
Look at the pictures of the building and go to the building site. You'll see that the property has never been into compliance. And still
Okay, I
is not
object to
in
Mr.
compliance.
Tony talking.
Excuse me, who's speaking now?
Tony Harwell.
Mr. Harwell, you have not been recognized by the chair.
Well, that's why I questioned it, and I didn't get an answer. I'm sorry.
She said for you to hold on. I did hear that.
Yeah, I was asking you to hold on because we're trying to clarify some important issues and as in what is defined as in compliance and what is not combined in compliance at this point in time.
Okay, does the
Just Is there a time limit?
On compliance, coming in complete compliance?
No, is there a time limit on the back and forth that's going on right now between the attorney and the board?
Well, that's why I asked the city attorney to speak up so we can kind of come to a resolution.
Does
Madam
the,
Chair?
Yes,
excuse me,
ma'am.
Chair, you are conducting the meeting, so when you have heard enough testimony or comments, then you can move it forward. But as far as the code is, there is no time limit for presentation.
Okay. No, I guess I was I understand Mr. Iman's attorney's concern here, and I guess I'm looking for direction as to at what point is it truly considered in compliance when it's not clarified as the separation of the city code versus building codes.
All I can tell you at this time is that Mr. Collins has asked his questions. Officer Jackson has given her answers, and it's up to the board to determine whether she has, you've heard enough information to move forward to make a decision.
one question I have is, does Miss Clark have the authority to determine whether something has been brought into compliance?
I, as the chairman, do not exactly know that. I do not have the exact answer to that as to where it stops and where it starts and completely stops. I do know that in the sense of she can't override what the building code is required. So if
Okay.
there was an inspection that had to be done, she can't override and said it was in compliance, saying it was in full compliance unless that inspection is cleared.
Well, does Mr. El-Shami have a right to rely on her statement that every code violation has been brought into compliance then? Does he have the right to rely on that?
I think that the best way we can bring this case to under resolution for today, the recommendation was to bring it under foreclosure. And I feel now that it doesn't qualify for us to proceed in that area, and we'll just have to clarify the daily fine, ongoing fines to bring that into compliance.
Right, but now here's the thing. You guys have been charging him fines for I don't know how many days, but if in October 24th, 2018, the code enforcement officer said, you're in compliance. Every code violation is brought into compliance, then how is he being fined $100 a day? Because he got done within 30 days. According to the email he received from Ms. Clark, he was in compliance within 30 days of that order. And so,
but he also knew he was not fully in compliance. He would not have pulled a permit and proceeded to complete bringing the case and railings and all the issues. So he knew there was other issues that had to be resolved.
but
correct?
Does he have the right?
I know he understood at that point in time when he pulled that permit, there was other issues that had to be resolved.
Okay, but there's no order giving him a time limit or telling him to get those other issues done within 30 days.
He would have known what the time limit of his permit and coordinating with the building,
That permit was pulled after this was over. That permit
no, it
was pulled
wasn't
in
over.
January.
Yeah, but yes, he pulled the permit knowing that he had to complete some more work.
Wait a minute, but that was not the work on that finding
It's
a
on the
fact
same
and
violation.
law. It's not the same violation because she said everything's been brought into to code. What I'm trying to say is second lien needs to be released. These $100 a day fines need to go away. And then if you need to give them another finding of fact and conclusions of law, then fine, you'll get the stuff done. But it seems to me like the code enforcement officer said everything's been brought into compliance. And if you can't rely on that, then something is really wrong. Because
Okay,
that's
hold
the
on.
person who's doing the
Let's
violence.
back up, and then we're gonna try to get to a conclusion. Your client understood that they had a discussion in December that there were some other issues that need to be resolved on this building.
Was that in
correct?
December of 2018?
Yes, I guess
Okay.
December 2018. Is that
All right.
correct? He understood that by per conversation that there were some other issues that had to be resolved.
But what those issues, okay, he may have had another conversation, but I'm trying to say is that was after the items that are on the lien that's already there, those items were taken care of, according to the email. Now, maybe there's other things that need to be done that were not on the findings of fact and conclusions of law, but that would be a whole different lien or a different situation. Isn't that
Mr.
correct? Yes, ma'am.
Since your client has been sworn in, and we
Yes.
don't have to guess about what he knew or what he understood, why don't you let him testify?
I will. I'm going to let him testify a little bit in the narrative because it's easier for him to tell his story.
I think we can move this forward and to come to something the board can be better apprised as to what's the knowledge level of your client is and was, and we can move this forward and they can come to a decision.
Okay. All right. So I need you to be able to be seen. So
Yes.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead and tell them what you want about.
Okay.
Could you turn
Can you
your
hear me, ma'am?
camera on, please, Mr. Collins? We can't see him.
It's I'm sorry. There's the problem.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Here is the issue that I have. In 2018, I got the letter from Officer Jackson about the violation that I need to take care of. I start to take care of this violation step by step till we get in front of the commissioner, and I explained that, and Officer Jackson confirmed that I'm already working towards it, but there's still some stuff needed to be done. I cannot complete until that eviction court order for the people, some of the tenants. Once I got this eviction court order, I start complete what's needed to be done. In September 2018, I contacted Officer Jackson. I told her I've done with everything. She told me she going to the building to inspect it. Next day she told
October.
That was October. Sorry, yes. In October, next day she went and inspected, and she told me everything came to complete. You already completed everything, and all violation has been satisfied. In December, which is now I'm done with this. On December 2018, I found the notes in the building. It showed that this building, it's not safe, and people should evict this building or move within 1 month.
That was the sign.
That was the sign, and it was signed by the code enforcement in Putnam, in Palatka. I contacted Officer Jackson, and I told her, Officer Jackson, now I received that. What is this? Officer Jackson explained to me, it's not issued by them, it's issued by the county, by the Putnam County. And I should contact Mr. Leo or Mr. Charlie, which is I already did. I contact Mr. Leo and Mr. Charlie. Both of them told me that we don't have jurisdiction over this building, and we did not have any violation in our record, and we did not do any inspection on this building. That's when I contacted them. I emailed Officer Jackson. I told him, Officer Jackson, the county telling me they don't have any idea about this building or any violation. They didn't inspect it. They didn't post anything on it, and they have nothing to do with it. She told me, I didn't do it. I went back again to the county. The county told me, no, it's the city. I went to the city, and I met with Officer Jackson and Captain Newcomb, and I told them, now this, I have a piece of document, official document, issued from the city, No one knows where it's coming from. Who issued that? They told me the county. Anyway, I told them, okay, I'm willing to satisfy that. Officer Jackson contacted Mr. Charlie and Mr. Leo, whom they came 1 month later after after this letter has been posted in my building. And they told me, okay, you need to do the Porsche and you need to remove that. That's it. I said, okay, I did the Porsche and I did everything. I hired the contractor did the job, and the contractor, this is a different issue. The contractor told me everything is done and he passed the inspection. 1 month ago, which is 1 year later, I got a call from Officer Jackson. She's telling me that the city has a meeting for foreclosure about your building. And I'm like, why is that? She said, because you didn't pass the inspection. So I explained to Officer Jackson, I told her, here is the contract, the general contractor, here is the paper from him, here is my contract, he filed everything. I found out that the county, they didn't pass me because there is some railing was missing. And there is some plumbing work being done in the property without a permit. When the contractor was working in the building, we found out that there is one plumbing got broken for Mr. Tony, the next door, which was coming through my property. Then he contacted the city. The city removed this plumbing. So now the city removed the plumbing for my next door to the main sewer system, which has nothing to do with me. And the county telling me you are not in compliance because the permit. I'm not the city. I didn't do this work. I don't own the property, but then I get fined for it. So I don't understand. Anyway, just to make it simple, I tried to hire another contractor because I couldn't get with the contractor to do real estate, which wasn't part of the beginning. So the problem is I got violation. They telling me that this building is not safe, but no one can tell me why it's not safe. And everyone blaming it on the other person. The city saying it's the county telling me it's the city. And finally, 2 months later, they telling me here is the violation. And I have all the email to prove that. So I got issued violation and no one knows what it is, which has costed me to lose a lot.
The big issue here is I'm looking at the actual lien, the September 26, 2018 lien, and it gives certain things to do. Mr. El-Shami did them, got the code enforcement inspector to inspect them. Code enforcement said every code violation has been brought into compliance. That should end it in the situation on those liens. Now, something else comes up later, that's a different story, but he got some kind of it's a letter size or maybe a little bit bigger sign that was put up inside the property that said that the property is unsafe. He doesn't even know who issued that thing. It wasn't, I don't think it was the city, and the county says they didn't do it. He goes to find out what's going on, and then this other stuff starts happening. The point of the matter is the September 2018 liens, both of them should be released because it says he brought things into compliance and he did it within the 30 days. So that's why we're saying those need to go away, because they have, according to the email from Ms. Clark, he brought it into compliance. It says that. And unless the city says that the code enforcement officer does not have authority to say that, then I think the city is bound by what she says, and he has a right to rely on it. If something else came up later that's not on this code enforcement lien, then I think that's a different subject. But I don't understand why the code enforcement officer says, well, he knew all this stuff. Well, I don't see it on this the lien. Why isn't it? If he had other things he had to do, why isn't it on that document? But she said he did everything that was on that document. I don't understand why that other lien's not been released and why he's being fined. Because at the beginning of this thing, I was told, it says that the beginning of this case here, it says that there's $70,900 in fines. And best that I could probably do is mathematically, that's probably how many that you divide by 100. That's how many days it's been. So why is the city fining him $100 a day when the code enforcement officer said he brought everything into compliance? That's the big question for me. What, you know, if the code enforcement officer doesn't have authority to do that, then the city needs to say it. But I don't know why he can't rely on that and why this lien still is racking up at $100 a day. So I think we beat this thing to death. So I don't know what the city wants to do at this point, but I think that lien needs to be released because she said it was brought in compliance.
Public input.
Question to Ms. Clark. Do you have any emails following the October 18, 2018 showing, letting him know that he has some other issues to resolve?
From
Or anything else in writing?
October the 18th, 2018.
After that email that he's complied to, referencing that he's supposed to be in compliance, do you have anything that was submitted to him in writing that he was not in full compliance?
I have multiple emails from between me and Mr. Iman regarding his property. And I know I got an email from him on October the 22nd, 2018, regarding his property that he had did some work. He fixed the broken pieces on the front porch, had been changed and replaced with a new corner metal piece of the roof that was missing, that has been replaced as well. Debris on that had been pointed out to him under the building, and the tires that have been removed and disposed of. Our screen around the building has been installed through Bennett Glass because he also had broken glass.
But what about after the 24th when you said everything was brought into compliance?
I have several emails after that.
And do they relate to the September 2018 lien?
I got emails from, yes, I have emails after that. He talked to me about where his tenants made a report about the leak in the building and in one of their apartments.
Was that as part of the September 2018 code enforcement order?
That was part of it, but that was through the building that they pointed out and addressed to him. And that was before the placard that was put on the property that he had tenants in pretty much all. He's only a 4-bedroom unit or 4-bedroom apartment in that structure there. And he was pointing out those things as a courtesy, as I stated before and earlier. He was given a lot of things as a courtesy, but it's still covered up under the section 30-179 of the repairs. So,
but wait a minute, but you're telling me that, okay, so you said every code violation has been brought into compliance when in fact you knew that they weren't?
No, what I'm saying is that the fact that he knew, he was made aware, what we pointed out, what I told him was going to be in compliance and what he sent me in the email on October the 22nd. However, when the building come out and do their inspection, if it's not passing on their end for him to continue or for the code to be lifted, I cannot lift it.
Wait a minute, I'm looking at, wait a minute.
Do you have the email from October the 22nd, 2018?
I'm looking for it.
There's some from 2017 as well.
I have Monday, October 22nd, 9:12 a.m. Please be informed I finished the last 3 things needed. He lists broken pieces of the front porch and stuff like that. You say thank you. And you said thank you on the 23rd at 10:49 a.m. And then on October 23rd at 10:44 a.m. Good morning, Ms. Jackson. Following our telephone conversation, please be informed we have finished the last 3 things. And then you at 10:52 say, Good morning, thank you. I will go by and do a reinspection today on the listed address to verify all code issues are in compliance. I'll send you an email with the outcome afterwards. And then at 11:20 on October 24th, you said I did go out yesterday and reinspect the property and saw that every code violation has been brought into compliance. I don't see how that could be any clearer than that. That the code violations were brought in compliance. I don't know what else you can get from that.
I'd like to ask a question, code enforcement officer. Was there any communication after that within, so many days or whatever that said that the inspections that were done by the county were not approved with Mr. Hyman, so that he understood that the railings and all of those things were brought into compliance, but the rest of the issues that pertain to the inspections on the house for the safety of the tenants and for it to be livable were not met?
Let me just clarify to make sure I hear you, Ms. Vaught. That's you, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So you're asking me if there was any communication between with me and Mr. Iman, or me and the Putnam County building official?
And maybe I'm saying Mr. Iman, that's not the correct name, the owner of the property. Because the attorney for the owner of the property is questioning the date of when you said that everything was brought into compliance. And then our chair asked you, did you have any other communications through email or whatever with the owner of the property that let him know that those things were brought into compliance, but he still had these outstanding things that through the county that needed to be met in order for his place to be, rentable and to people to be in there? Do you have any emails or any, written correspondence with the owner right after that that would tell me that he was still aware that there were these issues that needed to be fixed and okayed through the county?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you.
What date were those emails? Ms. Code Enforcement Officer, do you have any emails
Yes,
after
I
the
do.
24th?
Yes, I do.
What dates?
I have, hang on one second, because they came in different. We have December the 19th, 2018. I'm sorry, yeah, December 18, 2018.
Okay, but that wasn't like in October or November, though, was it? I mean, it seems like, so almost 2 months after you said everything's in compliance, you start having communication with him again.
These are the emails. We've had several conversations via phone and in-person contact. I have December the 31st, 2018. I have January the 2nd, 2019.
Excuse me again, Tan, this is Ms. Vogt. From the original 2017 code enforcement violations, has the property at any time been 100% in compliance since 2017?
No.
Okay, thank you.
If that's the case, then why did you say every code violation was brought into compliance?
Chair. It was in compliance on certain violations, which that was pointed out to Mr. Iman.
Wait. You said every code violation has been brought into compliance, not
Madam Chair.
some or most.
Excuse me, Mr. Collins. I
Yes,
hate
ma'am.
to interrupt you, but Madam Chair, recommendation that you guys continue this, the board consider continuing this matter so that everybody can bring their records forward, and then the board can review everything and we could come to some kind of resolution. It is now 5:23 p.m. The meeting was supposed to be conducted within 60 minutes timeframes, and we have other people who are still attending and still need to have their matters considered.
Okay. Do all parties agree that we should continue this request?
I think we do.
Okay.
Yes, I move a motion that we do that. This is Patty Vote.
And I move as chair to, that this case
Okay.
will be continued to allow the records to be reviewed and reconciled as to the happenings of this case.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
is there at no time for public input?
Well, sir, that probably may be at the next meeting, because right now we're trying to get all the facts correct. So I'm not sure whether your public input would make a difference at this point in time, other than we know that there's still some issues that needs to be resolved as to compliance or not.
The
Harwell?
public should fill input that might be relevant.
Mr. Harwell? Mr. Harwell?
Yes.
This is Valeria Thomas again. Yes, if the board votes to have public comment, and I think that they will, to get all sides of the facts before them, then you'll be noticed, there'll be a public notice as to the next hearing and allowing for public comment.
So just so I'm clear on this, at all code enforcement board meetings,
Are open to the public, yes, sir.
It's open to public for public to make comments. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir, that's correct.
On all cases?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a case that was up before the board and there was no way to make public comment.
Well, sir, at this point, we didn't get to the public comment. We barely, we haven't even gotten through the case in chief at this point. Mr. Collins and his client are still trying to present their side. Officer Jackson has presented the city side, and when
the public
that, we
needs to
can have
present-
some public comment. Yes, sir? Sorry?
Everybody has a side. Everybody has a side. Public is part of the side.
Yes, sir.
Public is part of the code enforcement side, and they should have comments too. They should
Harwell,
be able to
the hearing is not, this hearing is not concluded. It's just been continued. Have not restricted you or eliminated you from presenting your thoughts and your side.
Yeah, but the board made the decision to continue it without public input.
Okay,
They're not
you want to have input? I mean, they still can vote to continue even with your input.
I understand that, but you still, I mean, you have to have public input.
Not at this particular hearing. We'll give you the opportunity to speak at the public at the next hearing, due to the delay of the timing of our hearing today.
Okay, so you, just so I can get this correct, you've extended the hearing because there's questions about the property owner's attorney and what he has brought up during the board. Is that why you're continuing it?
We're continuing for the both sides to have their facts reviewed as to, based on what they presented today.
Okay.
We're not excluding you. We're just allowing to tie up the ends of making sure everything is, what was presented is correct.
Okay, and in that sense, then the public, it's important to have so everything could be put out there to decipher, not just one side or the other.
Mr. Harwell, do you have records concerning this matter that you could present before the board?
I have records of complaints that I sent to code enforcement, and I've had.
First.
Okay, then you
And
can
I've-
present those at the continuing, when the hearing is continued. As we said, we are not, the chair has so advised you, you are not being excluded. We are just, it is 5:28. The hearing was, this entire meeting was supposed to be concluded by 5 p.m. Due to
Okay.
latest hours and other people who have cases to present, they've just decided and voted to continue this matter. And you will be notified, I mean, there will be a public notice as to when the next hearing is scheduled. The next meeting is scheduled for the code enforcement court.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair. Madam, Chair, Captain Newcomb.
Yes.
Okay, I thought we lost you. Okay.
Can I ask Ms. Thomas a question real quick, please?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Captain.
We've had a few comments posted via YouTube that City Hall is sending me concerning the case that we're looking at continuing. Should I hold those for the continuance in the case as well so that we can move forward?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's up, well, that's my opinion, but it's up to the chair and the board.
I'm sorry, repeat your request.
I have questions that were posted via YouTube that City Hall has shared with me concerning the property that we're looking at continuing at this time. Do you want me to hold those public comments until the continuation of this hearing for this specific piece of property for 822 Oak?
Yes, that would be my recommendation, to hold them.
Yes, ma'am. I have nothing further.
Thank you. Are there any other cases that need to be, that's present to be heard today?
This is Amy Keys. I have a question. This is Amy Keys. I have a question.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think.
Are there any other cases present?
Ms. Keys was trying to ask you a question.
Okay.
Thank you. Did we get the gentleman's mailing address so we can notify him for our next meeting? Do we have information on him?
I can barely hear you. I'm sorry.
I'm sure he knows it's continued. We'll make sure we get the information.
Okay.
I'm asking due to the lateness of the time, was there anybody else present for the cases to be heard so we can know?
This
Yes.
is Terrell Hill. I just got a message from Kim Walter. I think she's on the docket for today.
Yes.
Indicating that she had to leave because of the time extending over. And so I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that.
Mr. Mayor, she's here. This is Valeria.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else present?
Miss Williams, this is Code Officer Jackson. Miss Kim is still with us. That is correct. We had KW, I believe, but I think he's having some technical difficulties as well.
Miles is present.
Okay, well, I'm talking about, I'm sorry, I was talking about in reference to the case. Yeah, so do we want to hear, do we have time to hear this case and then continue the other ones is on the dockets?
Which one is that, Madam Chair?
This is 2019-17-606 North 7th Street.
and 604 North 7th Street for the record.
This is
Okay,
Ms. Walter.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Ms. Walter.
I think this is getting keys. I think we should carry the rest of them over to our next meeting due to the fact that the public wasn't able to give their opinion.
But I believe this Ms. Walters is on the docket. That case, that prior case is already continued. So we, in fairness to her, we should be able to hear her case or allow her position to be heard today or continue it. This is a rarity. We've never had any cases that drag out this long.
Okay. May I speak? This is Code Officer Jackson.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Wilder case is case number 2019-0016 and 2019-0017. Property address is 604 North 7th Street, Palatka, Florida 32177, and 606 North 7th Street, Palatka, Florida 32177. These property was submitted as an abatement case. However, Ms. Wilder has taken into her own hands and she brought them into compliance by doing her own abatement process herself. And she requesting for a release, a reduction, a fine reduction for the abatement process on both properties.
And what is the current fine?
They was abatement. They went for an abatement process. There was no recorded lien on her properties. They went for abatement instead.
Okay, this issue is a new one to me, so I'm not sure what is that entail.
She's looking for a reduction in the abatements where the city will go out and bring the property into compliance, either tear them down due to the structure damage, and these gonna be the two at the corner of North 7th Street and Bronson. There was two old structures there, and she actually tore them down herself before our process completed.
So what is our cost or involvement in this? Did we do anything at all? Other than filing the abatement?
Is this the Holmes? City Manager Holmes on here?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
the city did incur some costs. We filed a lawsuit and we have costs to the city of $531.77. And those cannot be reduced or suspended or abated.
So, excuse me, this is Patty Vote 10. Are you requesting that, being that the owner took care of the cost of demolishing these properties and clearing it, and it's been brought up to compliance, that we only get the cost that the city has laid out? Is that correct? I heard 530 something. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas, can you repeat the amount again for us?
$531.77.
And is that your recommendation, Code Enforcement Officer?
That's what Ms. Wilder, the property owner, she's asking for a reduction on that. Ms. Thomas, I have a question. Is that the fine total amount for both properties or that per property? Because there was two structures there.
I muted myself. That's for a total, $531.77 for both properties.
For both properties.
Yes, ma'am.
And is there a recommendation?
Well, I might understand that there's her recommendation is for the fines to be released, but
Yeah,
there's only cost on here. It's not fines. And
yes,
we
and
can't
that's why,
waive the cost.
what is Tan's recommendation or the city's recommendation? Is there one?
I don't have one. Ms. Thomas, who is our interim city attorney, stated that that fine cannot
Oh.
be reduced because of the cost that the city has put into it.
I'm sorry, Ms. Thomas.
No problem.
I'm used to the name Mr. Holmes. I apologize.
Not a problem. Yes, that's the city's recommendation that Ms. Walther be assessed $531.77 to reimburse the city for costs it expended in filing the abatement action.
Well, I can move that the board agree with the fine of the 530. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that number again, 531, and satisfy this.
Excuse me, can I speak? This is Don Holmes.
Yes.
Okay, so I realize I'm coming in late and I apologize for that. But on an abatement, technically this case isn't before the board. The abatement was filed independent of the board. We filed a civil suit against Ms. Walther and incurred that amount of costs in filing fees and service of process. After we filed suit, Ms. Walther did in fact clean the property up. We had already incurred the expense as the time she voluntarily cleaned the property up. So, you know, the question of whether or not to assess the cost really isn't one before the code board. It just isn't. So if that's of any help to you, this was done independent of the code board. The code board may have considered the case in days past. I don't know. As I'm sitting here right now, I don't have benefit of the file or any of that. But I don't know if there was an independent fine running or anything of that nature. But this is a civil suit that is not filed under the Code Enforcement Board procedures, process, or that entire, I guess you'd say, side of things. It's done independent by me on behalf of the city manager at the time that I filed the lawsuit. So, you know, I with all due respect, I don't think this is one that the code board has jurisdiction to weigh in on.
Well, then I retract. I retract what I said then. Thank you.
Thank you.
So make sure, for clarification's sake, then her request is not a part of the code enforcement, but only thing we could address to her is acknowledging that there is cost of $531.77.
Yeah, I guess you can. I mean, I haven't looked at the file, but that sounds about right. By the time you got filing fee and cost of service in there were no attorney's fees charged, of course, because of the fact that I did not charge by the hour when I filed the suit. I didn't charge any independent fees. So there are no attorney fees involved in that. Whatever you have are pure costs that the city expended in getting the lawsuit filed. So if there's a lien on her property, it's the result of the court suit, not anything the Code Enforcement Board did.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Clark, can you make Ms. Walters aware of our current filings of the results of this hearing?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other parties present of case that to be heard today?
KW, are you present?
Madam Chair, this is Captain Newcomb.
Yes.
KW is Mr. Ken Schwing. He's the property owner of the property that is on Kirby Street, that is on the agenda for today. He's having a difficult time with the Zoom process, and he has messaged me asking for a continuance.
Okay, that's great. Can I get a motion that all the other cases be moved to another docket?
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
Now, I make a motion that all the other cases be moved to the next docket.
Madam Chair, may I speak again?
Yes.
Okay, so there, of course, you have the ability to do that, but in order for us to avoid having to renotice the cases, you need to move the cases to a time certain. So if they were noticed for today and they're being brought up today, that's fine, and you certainly can continue them. But I would ask that you go ahead and reference them by number, and then continue them by case number, and then continue them to a date and time certain. In that way, we don't have to renotice the cases. The notice that's already occurred would deem to essentially hold over until the next date when the cases are to be heard. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next time certain will be the October hearing date. Is that correct, Ms. Clark?
Yes. October the 28th, 2020 at 4 p.m.
Okay, so that, okay, October 28th, you said?
Yes, October the 28th, 2020 at 4 p.m.
Okay, so that's, if I'm following the docket, that would be case 2019-15, 407 North 7th Street. 2019-51, 426 Kirby Street. Case 2020-73, 119 North 15th Street. 2020-74, 521 North 9th Street. 2020-75, 509 North 8th Street. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
also include case number 2017-00040, which was Mr. Collins and his client.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mhm.
Is it possible for that particular case that the attorney should review the file before we get to the next hearing on that one?
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, this is Captain Newcomb.
Yes.
Reference to our October meeting, and we may need to ask Mr. Holmes this. Do we want to indicate whether the meeting will be via Zoom or possibly back face-to-face? Property owners are aware.
I don't think that it's necessary that that particular decision be made right now, as long as the date is specified. We can handle that other notice through a generic notice that applies to the entire meeting. Right now, as we sit here, I don't know if we're in a position to really say whether that October meeting is going to be held via Zoom or not. We haven't, the commission has not opened up our meetings, and this would be one like all those other meetings that are held in the commission chambers that would be governed by whatever the commission's decision is in terms of us having virtual meetings. So right now, if we could just continue the case to a time and date certain, we won't worry about whether it's virtual or in person right now. We can handle that notice in a generic fashion later.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I know it was been motioned that it was continued. Did we ever get a second on that motion?
No, it wasn't second.
Okay.
I'll second it. This is Ann Keys.
Okay. With that in mind, it has been moved and properly second. The cases that we did not hear today that was referenced will be continued to October the 28th, 2020 at 4 o'clock at the next code enforcement meeting. All in favor? Any opposed to that motion? Motion carry. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion that we adjourn. Patty vote.
Thank you. We will adjourn the code enforcement meeting as of today, September the 23rd at 5:45 p.m. Thank you. Thanks
Thank
you for showing up. Meeting adjourned.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
this is Ann again. I don't have a calendar in front of me. What was the next date of
October the 20th.
October 20?
Our regular code enforcement, the fourth Wednesday.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you.